Okay guys, let's continue with our geometry. So the last few days we've been working with triangles. Today we're going to switch and talk about volume. And particularly today we're going to work on finding the volume of a cylinder and a prism. These need to be gimme questions on the PARCC test because this is all just going to be plugging in numbers. Let's talk first about what volume is though. Volume is the space inside a figure. So if you were to take, let's say, a can of soup. Say a can of soup. Finding volume means finding the area inside the figure. And volume is measured in units cubed because they're three-dimensional. And there are two formulas that you need to memorize. The first one is for a cylinder, which I've written out. V equals pi r squared times h. R will stand for radius, h will stand for height, and whenever we see that pi symbol, we always use the number 3.14. We're also going to be working with finding the volume of a rectangular prism, which is super easy. Volume equals base times height. All right, let's move on. Okay, let's look at this first one. You need to ship an umbrella to your friend, but can only find a rectangular box to send it in. If you're going to use the box shown below, what is the greatest possible length of the umbrella? What this is really asking me to find is the volume. Now, the way I find volume of a rectangular prism is V equals base times height. But here's another thing you need to understand. Base, the way I find base is the length times the width. And then I multiply whatever that number is times the height. So I have three numbers here, 6, 4, and 3. 6 counts as my length. 4 is my width, and 3 is my height. Now, in order to get base, I need to multiply my length times width. So I'm going to multiply 6 and 4. That's going to give me 24 for my base. I have a base of 24. Now that I have these two numbers, I can go ahead and plug them into our formula. V equals, instead of B, I'm going to write 24 times height. Instead of height, I'm going to write 3. So then this becomes really simple math where all I'm doing is multiplying 24 and 3. And if I do that, I come out with V equals 72 inches cubed. And it's cubed because volume is always cubed because these shapes are 3D. All right, let's go on to another example. All right, let's look at the volume of this figure. Well, this is a cylinder. Cylinders are always in the shape of like cans, or I like to think of them as little oatmeal boxes. Now, if I want to find the volume, I just use my formula. V equals pi r squared times height. And I already have these values. 5 centimeters is my radius, and my height is 5. So all I have to do is plug them in. V equals, instead of pi, I'm going to write 3.14. And then my radius is 5, so it would be 5 squared times my height of 5. Now, if I go by my order of operations, I need to simplify this exponent first. So I'm left with V equals 3.14. 5 times 5 is 25 times 5. Now, my last step is literally just to multiply these numbers together, going left to right. If I multiply 3.14 times 25, that's going to give me 78.5. And then if I multiply that number by 5, I'm going to come out with volume equals 392.5 centimeters cubed. That's it. Literally all I'm doing is using my formula. Let's do one more example. All right, what is the volume of a container of oatmeal with a radius of 9.3 centimeters and a height of 16.5 centimeters? Now, obviously, this doesn't have a picture. However, if I read my example, I can go ahead and draw what I hear. So what is the volume of a container of oatmeal? Well, I know a container of oatmeal is in the shape of a cylinder. Now, if it has a radius of 9.3 centimeters, remember radius is half the distance between one side of my cylinder and the other, so that'll be 9.3. I'm just going to label it. You should also be doing this on your notes page. And then a height of 16.5 centimeters. Now, all I have to do is use my formula. V equals pi r squared times h. Let's plug in our values. V equals, instead of pi, I'm going to write 3.14. And then our radius was 9.3, so 9.3 squared times a height of 16.5. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and simplify out our exponent, so I'm going to rewrite the rest of my equation. V equals 3.14 times 86.49 times 16.5. Now, if I multiply straight across, I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 86.49. And if I do that, I'm going to come out with roughly 271.57, which I'm going to then multiply by 16.5. And if I do that, I come out with V equals let's do that math again. I come out with 479.75 centimeters cubed. So again, draw what you hear and apply your formula. That's going to be it for me. Let's go ahead and practice.